All right. Well, everyone, welcome to the partner series today with ETS Express, one of our favorite drinkware vendors of all time. I think this is going on number 3 for the partner series for you guys. I think you were our very first one, and then we had you last year, and now we're having you back again this year because we love everything that ETS Express does. Continue to love the quality you guys put out, not only in your drinkware, with your decoration methods, just the full-blown value that you guys bring to our clients to help them build their brand, and all that fun stuff. So, Michael, just tell me, for those who don't know you or ETS Express, just tell me a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with ETS Express, and just do a real quick snapshot of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you guys again. My name is Michael Contreras. I've been with ETS for 8 years now. And it's been a great journey. It's been amazing to carry one category, which is only drinkware. You don't find that too much in our industry. Usually people carry a lot of different SKUs. I've been there, I've done that, but it's certainly awesome to be as close to an expert as I can be on one single category. So my hope is that I can share some fun ideas and facts that will hopefully just help you keep drinkware, front and center, especially when you're talking about, maximizing your opportunities when it comes to branding your brand. So that's my hope.
Very cool. And I have just put a link to the ETS Express website on the in the chat box there. So anybody who wants to just open that up, peruse around. Of course, at any time, if you have any questions about what you're seeing, any decoration method, anything like that, feel free to throw them in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask them. We'll be sure to get those answered. And I think with that, we'll just kind of go ahead and hop right into the conversation. I think Landon, typically we try to end this thing around 10:50. Hopefully we can make it a little bit shorter than that today. I know we're going to try to make it short as sweet as possible. But yeah, so Michael, we'll just kind of let you go into your presentation and see what happens.
Awesome. Sounds good. And I'll try my very best not to stick to this whole PDF thing. I know a lot of us do this quite frequently, so I'll hopefully be a little bit more animated and show you some live product, as live as it can be on Zoom, right? So thank you again for your time. Let me start off by just answering the question we always get asked, why drinkware? Whenever we're trying to have a conversation in terms of why anybody should be thinking about maximizing their branding opportunities on a single item. So just so you know, we basically cover the full gamut when it comes to drinkware, with the exception of paper and styrofoam, simply because they're throwaways. We don't want to create throwaway items. We want to create long, memorable opportunities with your brand on it. So just a couple of fun facts so you guys are aware. A lot of information on here. I won't go through everything. I would like to say I'm not that robotic. But just understand that when it comes to drinkware, we are the second largest category in the promotional product world, only second to apparel. And as you can imagine, there's a lot that's involved within the apparel gamut, if you will. So with that, I guess I could technically say we are the largest hard goods category in the promo world. So really, really big deal. And really all you have to do is think about, walking into any big box store. And like for years now, there are companies out there that will dedicate full aisles to just drinkware, right? Everybody wants a short, small, skinny, large, this color, that color. There's a lot to choose from these days, and it just doesn't stop. So you'll see some new products that I want to showcase with you, just so you can kind of see the opportunity that we are always bringing to the table to keep things fresh. And also keep in mind that we love to follow retail trends. In our world, it's a little bit more unique than the retail world. And, we often even talk about, oh man, the pricing is going up. And, we're certainly only trying to maximize our opportunities, not to create more money, but to stay in the game. And ultimately, we are still almost a third of the price that you would find most retail brands these days anyway. So just keep that in mind, be mindful. I know some of you have used our products in the past, and maybe you've seen a little bit of a hike in the price, but again, we want to continue to provide you the best quality within the promo world and best opportunities that we can. So A couple other notes here. Obviously there's 88% of consumers own promotional product drinkware. That's a huge volume when it comes to, keeping your brand front and center to people. And, if you look on the right-hand side, there's a lot of reasons why people love to buy drinkware, right? Again, retail, like talked about a little bit. In terms of what an item can do, I think I will be honest and say stainless steel, vacuum, double-walled items, typically now copper-lined, are the king in the drinkware world. Why? Because I can have one item that will hold hot and cold all day long if I want. I can wash it, drink my coffee in the morning, wash it out in the afternoon, drink water in the afternoon. So the one item can now carry any liquid that you want, and it just makes a lot of sense. So, and also just think about, right now we're into the spring, going to be hitting summer here soon. And so water bottles typically are what's being looked at around this time of the year. But throughout the year, you can highlight any type of, promotional drinkware item, whether it's ceramic, and I'll go through a lot of different ideas, but ceramic, stainless steel, aluminum, even Triton-based, which is clear water bottles typically. So a lot to choose from. And hopefully you guys can get as excited as I do when I sell these things. And before I even start, and I'll probably mention it again, but keep in mind that our whole intent and purpose in this is to show our ability to be able to tell your story as opposed to just slapping your logo on. Now, I get it. Some branding guidelines don't allow it to get really crazy or fun. I won't down talk the boring brands. I totally understand. It's a joke, obviously. But that's really where we kind of make our mark in the marketplace, is our ability to really design and decorate in fun, unique ways to target the conversations that you want people to have regarding your brand. So hopefully that will kind of resonate as I talk about some items. So let me move on here. Let me kind of just jump in onto some of the new items so you guys get a fresh look and feel for what's happening and what's fresh. I'm assuming most people can see me pretty well in the screen there. So I'm going to also highlight the items as close to my screen so you guys can kind of see. At least I want to showcase some of the small elements and details of the items that I'm talking about. So Contigo happens to be a retail brand that we have carried in our line, and we are the only ones in the US that are able to print on Contigo. And it's been like that. I want to say the marriage has been about 10 years. So we've done a great job, and Contigo is definitely one of our top sellers. But what they've done this year is they've made a little bit of transition on their water bottle where it's a little bit more ergonomically shaped towards the top here, easy to hold on to, because a lot of their bottles allow it so that you can basically use one hand to open and close as I'm
Mike,
doing.
real quick, if you don't mind, would you stop sharing so that we can set your screen? So
Is it too small? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Let me do this. Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this is what I meant, is ergonomically shaped, easy to hold on to, cap, right? And then with one hand, the same hand that I'm holding on to it, I can open it or close it in the same instant, right? Here is just an example of tone-on-tone imprint, which I'll talk about throughout, but I just want to kind of highlight the new items first. So this is the Contigo Ashland Chill double wall vacuum lined. The next item that I will show you is simply the Triton version. So I won't obviously showcase that, but it's exact same bottle, same element. And you'll notice here, I didn't show you when I was showing you live, but it does have a locking mechanism on there. So if you're throwing it into a gym bag, ladies putting it in a purse, it doesn't open up. So, and it won't leak either. So obviously Contigo is known for their leak-proof lids, and just a great brand if you don't mind co-branding with a good retail brand that's out there.
Yeah,
next item.
I was gonna say Contigo's been around for a little while. I do love just the sleekness of their design. I feel like that leak-proof thing, how long have they been around? I mean, it's been like 10, 15 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah, Contigo's been around, I want to say, for 15, maybe even 20 years. But they came into our industry like just about 10, maybe 11 years ago. So it was, it was an interesting way how we got connected with them. One of our clients, real quickly, off on the East Coast, basically was doing business with us. They were also doing business with Contigo, and they loved our decoration. So he basically said, hey, you two need to talk. And that's how we were inspired to be able to decorate on retail brands. So definitely one of the first to get retail in our promo world back in the day. So, and now you see it all over the place. Everybody's got some sort of retail, but good stuff, all good stuff. The next item that I have here, it's called the H2Go Voyager. Just so you're aware, H2Go happens to be our own brand. So we created it, but we're starting to see a huge shift in people actually out there in the retail world looking for the H2Go brand. So that's always a plus and a great thing for us, obviously, because people then equate us to a lot of the retail brands that you hear out there in the marketplace, which is cool. So obviously high quality, talks about our high quality and really cool visuals of what we're able to accommodate. So let me stop sharing because I do have the Voyager right here in front of me. Here's what's cool is you have an easy collapsible handle, so easy to hold on to, right? The uniqueness of this bottle, number one, it's got a nice large imprint area, could really tell a full story wrap on here, right? Some of the things that we love to do is skyline themes on the bottom with your city, you name it. We do a lot of really fun, creative stuff that we'll talk about in a minute. But the uniqueness of this one is, number one, it's all powder coated. And this is actually, believe it or not, as long as we've been doing drinkware, this is the first time that we've actually introduced an insulated lid for a drinkware item. You would think it would be a thing to do, right? But this is actually the first time that we've done this. Typically, you'll find insulated lids on like food containers out there. And so we did it on a drinkware piece and we love it. So we can technically now officially say it is fully insulated top to bottom. So here's the Voyager. Again, very sleek bottle, super, super cool. And the other thing that we've been able to do with double wall copper lined items is create a little bit larger capacity. So typically because items are double walled, they fall in the like 20 ounce range. And this one is 25 ounces. So it's kind of that medium capacity that people really love because they're not having to refill it quite as often as they're used to.
The other thing I like about the H2Go brand is that I'm pretty sure all of those options come in like that sort of retail looking gift box, correct? So that works not only really well for retail spots to be able to like have the cup out front and then have the boxes right behind it stacked up, but it also works great for like giving these out at a golf outing or to your employees or gifting them as a kit or something like that, to where it just really presents very well for really half the cost or a third of the cost you'd be getting a lot of these other big name brands. And as you can see, I mean, just the quality and the visual aspects of this are right in line with what you're seeing with like a lot of the other big name retail box store brands.
Absolutely. Yep. Good point. And I have an item here that I'll show the box here in a second. I'll show it with the item that I show, but absolutely great. And there's a detail in the box that we've created to make it easy, especially when you're ordering different colors and you're looking to hand out certain colors to people, right? Most people in the past have to open up a box. Well, we've created a little window that you can see. You just basically look at the box and hand out what you want. So we've tried to make things as easy as possible, as elegant looking as possible. And obviously being in the promo world, the words tchotchkes often come up in the retail world. Obviously, we're not selling tchotchkes, but we do sell really high-end looking stuff for a very low cost compared to what's out there in the retail world. So the next item I want to show you, pretty cool item, is called the Lumos, H2Go Lumos. So just so you know, the H2Go is really just referencing our water bottles, even though we create a lot of tumblers as well. So anyway, let me stop here and I'll show you this one quickly. The Lumos, also 25 ounces, nice large capacity, large imprint area. Here I'm actually kind of showcasing an ability for you to see, hopefully, an imprint that if I get the light right, and it might not work here, it's too bright. It's not working, but that's okay. We can add glitter. So everything that you see here in silver with this astronaut-like person here, we can include glitter in any element that we print on your logo to help it stick out and give it some texture. So I know I thought it was going to be a little bit easier to see, but everything that you see in silver has a kind of a glitter element, but the glitter does not fall off onto your hands because we mix the glitter in the ink. Here's a really cool concept on this one. It's not your traditional twist off lid. It's what we call a push and seal lid. So very easy to use. We've actually done a lot to get away from the large like twisting action, right? Nobody likes to do this consistently. I close it, I seal it, 100% leak proof, I'm good to go. So this is kind of a new style that we've created in the lid, and then you have a nice large handle.
So if I'm looking at this, the astronaut, so this would be considered basically, is that a 2-color imprint, right? That I'm looking at in one location?
Yes. Yep.
And
Absolutely.
the glitter doesn't add any cost to it. It's just
It does not.
Okay.
It does not. Yeah. So to kind of give you a better visual, right? So here you kind of see these little stars, right? So recently I did for a client a Hollywood theme. They had their logo and they're like, how can we do a Hollywood theme? So we did a big star, right? Like the Hollywood star effect. So we did a big star. We put their logo inside the star, and then we put little stars throughout as a wrap. And then what we did with the little stars is we added the glitter element to each of the star to make it pop. And they absolutely went berserk. No additional cost to adding any glitter to any element. They didn't have to do it to all. They actually just picked and choose which items or stars they wanted to have that effect with. So just a really cool concept. All right, going back here. Next item, one of my new favorite pieces, which I think you guys will absolutely love. Here's the H2Go Ranger. The Ranger, super cool piece. It's got a 2-tone look on the bottom. The bottom is actually slightly rubberized. We spray it with silicone to give it a good texture. You can actually hold on to it on the bottom in case you tighten this really tight. It makes it easy to open up. So notice how it's kind of a twist and a half. Again, we do this purposely with a lot of the twist. You'll see that there's only like one threading on the cap there. Again, for purpose, right? We don't want to sit there and keep screwing things on and off. But what's great about this one is you have a locking lid. When you open it, it's spring loaded. So it basically goes back and locks back into position, guys, right? You feel this, or you see this here. When I lock it back, it's purposeful so that when I'm drinking, it's not going to come back and hit me in the face. But it's got a really nice pouring spout that you can see there. So a lot of the details on this bottle, super, super cool. And guess what? If you just want to use this as a cup, you'll notice the top, the way we made this, your lid fits nicely on here. It's rounded off. It's not edged. So you're not going to get cut or anything like that. Super, super cool cup, especially for your campers out there, Brett. I'm just saying. This is a great bottle for you to take with you on your camping trip.
That's awesome. So, and just so everybody knows, just real quick, as Michael is kind of going through these, I'm linking them out into the chat box, so you can open those up and get a general idea of what the pricing looks like. Most of that pricing includes a 1-color imprint, and then obviously the ones that he's showing had, like the Ranger bottle he just had holding up, like he had about 3 or 4 different color options. So the price that you see there includes a 1-color imprint, and then the more colors you add, the more a la carte you make it, obviously the pricing increase, but that'll give you a really good baseline of what the pricing is for these things. You can kind of flip around, look at the pictures on
and keep in mind too. Yep. And keep in mind too, that's great, Brett. I appreciate it. When you're adding, even though 1-color imprint is included, keep in mind that a lot of times people forget. Again, I talked about briefly about slapping a logo on, right? People typically just want front center, maybe a little bit smaller. If we increase the size of your logo, or you decide to do a full wrap with a 1-color imprint, it's no additional charge. There's no charge for the size increase. There's only a charge when we have to add colors to printing your brand or logo, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, the next item. Very similar. I won't talk too much about this one. It's very similar to the one I just showed you in terms of the cap. You have a button here that you press, opens up. The top lid here, you can kind of see it over here on the right side with the black lid. It's a collapsible carry handle that goes on top of its lid. Again, very cool. This one goes back down to about 20.9 ounces for capacity. So it's a little bit slender and taller, but very cool. The bottom is powder coated. You have bands here that you can actually take off. And I've actually have done a couple projects where there were some team themes built around the items they wanted to hand out. And what they actually did, and I recommended, they did a black bottle and a red bottle. they took the bands off and used them as wristbands to distinguish who was on what team. And then when they were done, they actually put them back on the bottle. So just kind of a fun idea, right? That's what we do in the promo world. So, all right. Next item I have here real quickly. Not much to tell about this one other than this is an example of an aluminum water bottle. I'll just kind of show you how large it is compared to my hand here. But large imprint area, super lightweight, literally like 3-4 ounces. Like if I'm holding on to it long enough, I forget that I'm holding on to it. It's that light. But again, super easy to use. Small thread count. And this is the first time that a very minimally priced item for what it is comes with its own gift box. So that's a plus.
What was that item called again, Michael? I'm sorry.
It's called the H2Go Chroma. Sorry, Brett. I know you were linking them. Yeah, so comparatively speaking to some of the double wall. Now, it is a single wall item, so it will sweat. But if people are looking for a very sleek looking piece for a lower price point, this would be a great bottle with some fun colors as well. So moving on. The Colt. Okay, this is a pretty cool piece. Got to show you here. Here's the Colt, showcasing a nice laser imprint, laser decoration, top to bottom. You can kind of see how large it is there, front, back. With laser, we do have the capability of doing full wraps for you. And even in a lot of cases, if you want to imprint on the lid, we have the option of printing on lids for you as well. So especially if you have a bug or icon, you want to kind of accentuate up on top. Really cool idea. The cool factor about this H2Go Colt is that the entire thing is powder coated, including the body and the lid, but it's the first time that we've created an all stainless steel lid. So there's no plastic that's involved in the lid, as most items have. So it threads nicely on there for stainless steel on stainless steel. Super cool piece. So we'll move on there. But if you like sleek, that's a really cool option. Then we move on to Ambience. So the Ambience here, here's what I want to show you. Here's the Ambience live and in person. The coolness factor of this is an item that has what we call a 360 lid. Here's what's cool about this. Right now it's showing closed. You'll see kind of a hole in the middle there. When I open it up and I go about halfway, there's a stopping point. So when I stop it, you can kind of tell that it opened up there, right? On the inside. That means I can drink it from any angle. I just pick it up, and wherever I tip it from, it'll flow from any direction. So this is great for people driving because they pick it up. They're not looking for a spout. I use this cup. I love it. It's grown on me. Here's the other thing. When you open it up fully, it's still going to be open, and it needs to be open in order for you to take these prongs and pinch it out. So it's 2 pieces, very easy to clean. And usually with like tumblers and lids, that's kind of the biggest thing. How do I clean it? It gets pretty nasty in there, right? You leave your coffee in the car for an extra day. Not a fun smell after a while. So anyway, the Ambience is a really cool, new kind of trendy look with our 360 lid concept. Here, it's actually showing a little bit of a tone on tone. I'm sorry that the light is kind of affecting it, but if you can kind of see there, it's a tone on tone. Keep in mind when you print tone on tone, especially if you're handing it out internally to your own people, everybody knows the logo and brand typically, right? So when you go tone on tone and it's barely noticeable, it's a much more elegant approach to handing it out to your own people, still offering your logo obviously as the option. And so here's that example, the Ambience in its own box. And here's what the box looks like. And here's that hole I was telling you about that kind of highlights the color of the item. So you can just simply hand out. So very, very cool and trendy retail looking items. All right, we're almost there, guys. You're doing great. Another item, just to kind of let you know, we came out with a stainless steel version of a coffee mug. We call it the House. The House is a pretty cool little piece. The reason we came out with this is in the ceramic world, the Bistro mug, which looks very similar to this, is one of our top sellers. So we wanted to mimic, and that's why we brought out the stainless steel version of this cup. So obviously a lot of colors to choose from, its own gift box. Really, really cool. little new product that we introduced there. Okay, another item, getting into ceramics now. We have, I think, 4 or 5 pieces to show you. The ledge is a super, super cool piece. Very unique. The color is the same interior and exterior. The only difference is the exterior color is going to be a matte finish. The interior will be glossy, which just the distinction between the colors is really, really cool. Nice large handle. If you like to drink coffee, large capacity mug, this is it. And just really, really cool and sleek. In fact, there's one thing I want to show you on here that's really tough to see. As I'm holding on to it, do you see the back of the handle here? It's purposely made with a flat edge for a couple of reasons. Aesthetically, it just looks cool. It's different. But when you grab onto it, your knuckles are not hitting typically the vessel. So pretty cool. Very cool looking piece. There's again an image of
the tone on tone imprint, right? And so how do you guys achieve that? Like, what does that look like for you? Is it just like a gloss ink that you guys are basically just putting on there so that the color of the tumbler comes through? Is that how that works?
Yep, great question. So most of the time when we print, we're using glossy inks. The problem is not the problem. The distinction is that when you're printing on a matte substrate, the glossy ink tends to shine a little bit more than it would if you're, so here, let me give you an example. So here, what we just saw, right? So this is kind of a tone on tone. It looks kind of glossy, pops a little bit, but it's a matte finish, and that's why it kind of looks different. So here, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to jump into this item. This is a glossy item with the same type of ink, right? Looks a little bit different on here. That's only because the substrate is making it look a little bit different. So we're not using, we can print with matte inks, but typically most things are printed with glossy inks. But it's just the substrate that's making it look a little bit different, if that helps. All right, let me put that one back. Let me go back. In fact, instead of going back and forth, I'm going to show you. I'll just tell you what it is, so if you want to link it. So the next one I have for you is the one I was just showing you. It's called the Belize. In fact, the name is right on it. See, they make my job so easy, I don't really have to remember anything. So we print all the names on the items, make it super easy. So anyway, and a lot of these are our own unique designs just to kind of showcase and highlight the ability of our print and decoration concepts for you guys, right? Again, reiterating, we don't just want to slap your logo on. Anybody can slap your logo on anything. We'd much rather tell your story and help you get the name out there in a much more unique way, where people are keeping these things, they're talking about it. That's what we want to create. And this is a great example of that, for sure. The Belize is what I call the Modernized C-Handle Mug. Most people are familiar with the standard squared off C-Handle Mug. So a little bit more intricate on this one. Still, you have a large handle. And the other thing that we can do for you guys too, I should hold it the right way, is offer bottom prints on most mugs that we have as well. So if you want to have an extra message, especially like on Zoom calls, right? You can have fun and say things like, this may or may not be coffee as you guys are drinking your coffee, right? But have fun with it. Again, we're in the promo world. It's about having fun and making an impact. So that's the Belize. Some fun colors relating to that one. It's all going to be glossy interior and exterior alike. Let me send you to the next one. This is called the Endor, E-N-D-O-R. The Endor, just to kind of give you an idea, if you look at the handle, most of the times, so if you look, and I'm going to put these side by side so you can see, most of the time when you're looking at a mug, the mug is made to look like the handle and the vessel are all one unit. That's purposeful, right? Because it makes it seem like, oh, it's going to be stronger because it's all one piece. Well, guess what? All the handles are actually placed on, so it is actually 2 pieces. So what we did with this one is purposeful. You can kind of see where the handle is here. We made it so that you can see with purpose that the handle is separate, but it's a little bit more elegant looking, especially with the rings that rotate all the way around the bottom to match the handle. Honestly, this is just my fancy way of saying if you want something a little bit more classy when it comes to a mug, the Endor is your option. It's a great looking piece. So, all right. And then last but not least, guys, I have what's called the vida. We're living la vida loca, if anybody remembers Ricky Martin.
Yeah, I actually saw this as a new product, and I'm very interested to hear the story about this one. I guess like a coffee canister kind of thing, or
so yeah. So this, right, out of all the drinkware that we sell, we got into this is obviously a kitchenware item. It's for dry goods. It's not for drinking, but it's super popular in the retail world. And let me take out the piece of paper there. But it's super popular in the retail world. People, especially now, working more and more from home, love to have things that they can place on their countertops. And so what we did is we thought, look, we decorate on cylindrical surfaces. Let's bring this out because we didn't find anything in our promo world that was really kind of doing the same thing with the kitchenware items. So we decided to bring this out. I think if it does as well as we think it's going to do, you'll find different sizes. So we're certainly not going to start selling spatulas or anything like that, but this just made sense because obviously we have the ability to decorate on things like this. But large imprint area, right, on the lid and also on the bottom if you want. Nice large imprint area. So a lot of messaging that can happen here, and obviously showcasing full wrap imprint as well with a one color design. So there, that's the Vida. And any questions, comments at all on any products?
No, I think that was fantastic. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to again unmute, what have you, or just drop them in the comment section down there. I do want to at some point just kind of touch base or give a general overview of some different decoration methods out there. I think we're doing great on time. We've got about another 13 minutes ish or so.
Yep.
So if you just kind of touch base, I mean, I know there's like a foil imprint, which those of you who pre-registered to the partner series, you may have received a box that has our Goodson retro bottle that has a really cool like black chrome foil imprint on it. We love that. And then these guys just have some other really fun decoration styles that I think would be great to touch base on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump right into decoration so you guys can see. So obviously just coming off of the ceramics that we introduced, I wanted to showcase the ability of doing bottom prints. So here you have kind of a good visual to show that, provide some fun ideas. Again, you still have a pretty large imprint area. We can still do full wraps on ceramic items, but these are really the only items, with the exception of one glass item that I can think of, and that's your typical pint glass, that we can actually do a bottom print on. So definitely take advantage, have fun doing it. The other thing that we are able to do, which I touched on, is lid prints, right? So here's a bottle where we have a bamboo lid. The bamboo lids are super popular. We do have quite a few items that have that option, but we can also throw lid options. And then on this one, it's a little bit hard to see. I thought I had one available with me, and I do. I'll show you this one here. So here we go. So here I have what we call our camper mug. Can you see me? Okay, cool. So on this one, we have our camper mug, but you'll notice we also have, so this happens to be all laser, number one. So we can laser on the handle. This is one of the items, actually the only item where we can print on a handle simply because it's a flat surface, right? So the other one that I showed you, I don't think I showed you this slide, but here's the house. Because this is rounded, we unfortunately are not able to print on the handle of this one. But because this is flat, you have that option. So anywhere we can kind of get away, obviously we want to maximize the opportunity to give you a great branding opportunity. And this is a great item for that. So this is the camper mug, super, super cool piece. And I will note, if you guys are ever on our website and you go to the decoration tab up on top, there's a stock design link. We purposely make over 350 designs, stock designs online that showcase nameplates. So we get a lot of requests, for example, on, hey, can you personalize on my drinkware? Although we have the capability of doing it, we don't do it just because it's so timely. It takes a long time to run single names through the process. And with the amount of orders that we get, we would be really backed up. So what we have always done before even personalization became a thing on drinkware is we started adding nameplates. And so think of this visually. I'm going to try to help. Let's say your logo has a star incorporated within the brand, right? We can extract your star, and then literally place it low profile on the second side. So your main logo is on the front. And then we'll take your star, put it low profile, second side, and then we'll put this bottle belongs to, or don't mess with this, whatever, right? So I've done it, for example, for teams. The Blue Jackets has a star, and that's what made me think of it, where we took their star and we put, don't mess with this Blue Jacket, right? For Blue Jacket fans. So the idea of incorporating a nameplate with your brand, it just makes total sense. And so that's what we've done instead. So to give you kind of an idea there.
That's fantastic. Now, so with a lot of the stock products you get, so the handle imprint or a lid imprint or a bottom imprint, all of that stuff is sort of a la carte onto the original price, right? So like pricing comes with, on most items, a one color imprint in one location, which sometimes it's wrapped all the way around, or it looks different for each item. But if they wanted to add an imprint on a lid or on the bottom or on the handle, at that point, it would just basically add another setup fee for artwork, and then it would add a run charge of, I don't know, $1.50 to $3 or something like that to the item itself, right? That's
correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And each one is different, right? So when we're hitting the bottom or a lid, we're using a completely different machine. It's no longer a screen print that we typically do the vessel with. We're doing a pad print. So we have to take it to a different machine. We have to do a different setup. And so that's why there's more cost added to it. Okay, great questions. And I want to get on some of the chats. It looks like there's a lot of chats in there too. So unless they're all 27 great compliments, which I totally appreciate. I talked a little bit about the tone on tone factor, right? On the left-hand side. Again, I won't hound on it, but it really works well when you're trying to get a lot of information out there, but you don't want it to pop or scream at people. Tone on tone is still super, super popular. So keep that in mind when you're designing. Also, we do have 4-color process available. So here, our 4-color process, or what we call D4, allows people that have multiple colors within a logo, even though we have the capability of printing multiple colors via spot color, right? The difference between printing screen print versus a digital is the fact that with the screen print, you're going to get your true PMS color, or closest to it, right? And then printing digitally, you're going to get a CMYK, which is slightly more faded looking if you do a side-by-side comparison between the two. But sometimes you have to use a D4. Let's say you only need 48 pieces, right? And your logo has 8 colors. Not many people, although there are people out there, trust me, not many people would want to spend 8 setups and 7 run charges for only 48 pieces. So that's where the D4 comes into play. You have 1 setup, 1 run charge, whether you want to do one side or full wrap, and it's one and done basically. So that's what's great about the D4 concept. Then we offer something that nobody else offers, and I'm going to show you on an item here. So excuse me for a second while I grab this.
And for those of you who have received our partner, Ross just put a note in the chat. He's posing as Landon Wade. He logged in under Landon so that he could be the host. But for those of you who received the bottle gift from us for the partner series, this has the foil imprint on it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Goodson bottle that we did for it in the chat box as well.
Yeah, and so if you did receive that bottle, just know we used a black chrome to give it a tone-on-tone look on the black bottle that we did. So but yeah, would love your feedback on that. So what I wanted to show you here is foil decoration is something that we created a few years ago. We didn't launch it until just recently because we wanted to make sure that it really held up and did really well. So here I'm basically showing you on a white bottle. This is our Easton bottle, by the way, in case anybody's interested. So very small opening, but super cool piece. The Easton has 9 different colors of foil that I'm showcasing here. So as you can tell, if I get really close and the light hits it, the light really makes a difference. Look at the red and the purple there when it hits those colors there. There's a black chrome on the bottom that we use on the bottle we did for them. And so really, really cool concept, up to 9 different colors. And I always tell people when you pick an item like this one, where the stainless steel is high polish as opposed to just brushed, imagine putting a platinum, which is up top here, right, design with your brand right onto this piece. So now you're matching the accents, which make this completely unique and very different and high quality. So we love doing things like that. Again, it's about making an impression, making you guys stand out so that people are not just receiving something, but are completely wowed with what they're receiving from you. So, and then the last, I don't really have to, I've already talked about, but Laser X, we have the ability to do laser for you guys. Obviously, the reason most people do laser is because it withstands, it stays on longer without, paint coming off or anything like that. So over time, and to answer that old added, I know there's probably maybe some questions wondering, hey, I wonder if this stuff is like dishwasher safe. Here's the thing. We never tell you you can't put it in a dishwasher, but I want to leave you with a couple ideas. If you put a larger item like this in the dishwasher upside down, okay, oh, there's my things falling out, but you put it upside down, how often do you actually think the very bottom of your water bottle inside is getting washed? Probably not too often. That's why I tell people, use the brush. It's the easiest way to wash the bottle. And not only that, because we have no control over heat temperatures and detergents that people are using to wash their items, keep in mind that most of these pieces we're decorating on the exterior, which means that over time, the abrasiveness of the high heat temperatures and detergents will make those things tend to fade over time. Not saying it'll come off, but it's not going to look as vibrant as when you first get it. But if you hand wash, it can look like this years later. No joke. So just something I want to throw out there, and really just want to kind of leave it up to you guys if you have any questions or comments.
Yeah, so I guess, so we're coming up right here on time. We got about 4 more minutes left. So I would absolutely love to see any questions if anybody has some.
And I can jump in some of the chat in case I missed something, maybe didn't answer.
Absolutely. And again, for those of you who pre-registered or I think have joined a previous partner series, I'm not really sure how Atlanta is doing it now, but you should have received a partner series box that had a bottle in it, as well as some other stuff that we're doing. But if you haven't gotten that, then maybe you just didn't get the pre-registration link in time, or if you showed up today, then you will be getting a bottle in the mail at some point in time as a thank you for joining us and spending time with us today.
Love these comments.
Yeah.
This is great.
But the only thing I'll throw in is there's a lot of these companies that we do business with where you give a supplier an order and then you cross your fingers. That has never been the case with ETS. Quality, delivery, they're just excellent on a whole other level.
Yeah, I think
awesome. Appreciate that, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, just the eye for design and detail and just keeping up with retail trends. I mean, every ounce of what you guys are doing from start to finish is just fantastic. And I just love it as a go-to for people who are really wanting to build their brand in fun and unique ways. And yeah, did I hear somebody want to hop in here? Let's see.
And I'll be completely honest with you. Honestly, what helps us do that is for 37 years, this is the only thing that this company has focused on is drinkware. Everybody else that does drinkware out there, and not to put them down by any means, but they're typically selling a bunch of other items, right? So when you are focused, zero in focused, right? Just like probably most of the companies represented here, you guys focus on your expertise. That tends to make things a little bit easier to manipulate and deal with and handle and do things the way you need to do them, right? So not to toot our own horn, but that's extremely helpful when you're able to focus on one particular category. So, but thank you for those kind words. That means a lot. Yeah. I will pass them along for sure.
I have a quick question. The imprint style, so like the foil versus the laser, do they take different amounts of time to turn around? I know, like, for most part, when I'm ordering things, it's at a time crunch and we have like a couple weeks, if that, to turn it around. Yeah. So I'm just curious if there's a time restraint. Great
question. Yeah, typically. So right now, our typical turnaround time for just like spot color design, we can turn most things in like 5 business days. Now, the good thing is we offer 24, 48-hour rush services, right? Depending on how fast you need it. But typically 7 to 10 days is kind of that sweet spot that we like to give cushion to on most items. When it comes to laser, you'll probably see like an extra 2 or 3 days added to that. Same with foil. Just because they're a little bit different machines and a little bit different monsters, to deal with. But yeah, great question. And yeah, typically there's a slightly longer lead time needed for those particular pieces, foil and laser.
When you're
Okay,
utilizing the
good to know.
24-hour or the 48-hour rush process, does that basically mean you're only allowed to do one color imprint?
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. So typically the way that we look at printing is that if we're printing one color, usually the 1-2 color jobs that we do, we can turn pretty quickly, right? We look at it as, think of it as one color per day, right? So the 24-hour rush service, as long as it's a one color imprint, out the door, no problem. If you do 48 hours, we can do up to 2 colors. And then it kind of goes up beyond that, right? So that's where, in order for us to give that, like, the reason we do the 7 to 10 day cushion is order processing, proofs, it's all of it from start to finish, not just the printing process. So, but typically it's about 1 color per day. We're
any
still
added costs for the rush service? I'm sorry, any added costs for the rush service?
So yes and no. We do offer an e-rush service where it depends. So yes, I guess the answer is yes, because the e-rush and the e-rush 24 and 48 hour is what we call the e-rush service. As long as you send it in by a certain time and it's sent in the way that it's supposed to be formatted, which we have templates online, those we turn for you right away. When we have to add certain elements or you need a proof, that's when the pricing goes up because we have to crunch time to get it up. So it could be maybe, up to like maybe 50 cents or 60 cents, depending on what it is. So it just depends on how the format of the artwork comes into us, but we will let you know when it goes through. But usually that's what the E24 and 48 is for, with other options.
All right, well, it doesn't look like we have, unless anybody wants to hop in here real quick, it doesn't like we have any more questions in the comments. So with that, I think we're right here on time. I hope everybody is leaving here feeling as creative as I am and seeing all the fun different things that can be done within the ETS world and how they think about things, and really just kind of taking your brand to the next level and thinking outside the box of just like a one color imprint in one location and handing it out. These guys can really kind of make your brand come to life in some really unique ways on some really quality items that are about a third of the price of what you would get on the retail brands out there in the world. This has been great, Michael. I really appreciate your help. Hey, Landon couldn't be here today. He's out fishing, but whatever.
Hopefully he's catching something.
Yeah, hopefully he's catching something. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone's time. Again, if you haven't got the bottle, we'll be getting you one. Hope you enjoy the bottle as a gift for joining us today. And we'll be in touch with you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you again, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it. Good luck. And don't forget, send your logos. Let's create some fun ideas. Let's tell your story.